But the Prime Minister's office is trying to keep journalists out of the picture altogether. At least that's how the TV networks see it. Here's the ABC's Greg Jennett reporting on a Sunday morning visit by Keven Rudd to Liddell Power Station in the New South Wales Hunter Valley.
Ministers and day-glow vests mandatory.
I just love it when they call me putting these on.
They almost outnumbered the media, but the questions still flowed freely.
What's our ambition? Why are we doing this? What is the government's mission?
If Greg Jennett sounded frustrated, he wasn't alone, because neither he nor any other political reporter from Canberra or Sydney had been able to cover the story in person. On a day when the papers were full of stories about expensive ministerial trips overseas, there were just 3 local reporters at Liddell, and a cameraman from Channel 9's Canberra bureau who'd been offered a seat on the PM's plane to shoot pictures for everyone else. It was he, not a reporter, who asked these questions.
Have your ministers been travelling too much? Do you defend Mr Garrett's $250,000 travel?
The networks were furious. The previous day, one channel had asked the PM's office about a rumour that Mr Rudd was going to the Hunter. It was told, nothing's locked in. Later, another channel asked if the PM had anything scheduled for Sunday and was told nothing. Yet within an hour of that call, Nine was being asked to supply a cameraman to fly to Liddell with the Prime Minister. Everyone else heard nothing official until this.
Prime Minister.
Media alert.
The Prime Minister is in the Hunter Valley today and will visit the Liddell Power Station.
Media, please assemble by 9:40 a.m.
That was sent out at 6:08 on the Sunday morning. With just 3.5 hours' notice, it was all but impossible for reporters to get to the Hunter from Sydney, let alone Canberra. It's a recurring pattern, the bureaus tell Media Watch. Specialist political reporters and their pesky questions aren't welcome at the PM's photo opportunities. And it happened again last week. On Wednesday evening, the Prime Minister's office sent this at 7 p.m.
The Prime Minister is in Perth tomorrow and will visit the Port of Geraldton.
Time
9 a.m. Media pool arrangements are in place for this event.
Once again, one TV channel in Perth, this time 10, was told there were seats on the PM's plane for a camera operator and a sound recordist. 10 said it didn't need a soundo. Could it send a pool reporter instead? The answer was no. 10 camera operator Claire Lehman tells Media Watch,
there was at least one spare seat on the plane.
Folks, any questions for the Premier or myself? We're very happy if there are none. We're off.
And next morning in Geraldton, to the apparent amusement of the PM, all the questions were asked by one local ABC reporter, Grant Wynne.
Anything else, folks?
On the employee share ownership scheme, you've indicated there might
You've been given all the questions for today.
there might need to be some changes to that.
Okay, ready to rock and roll? Ready to
just lastly, what about your response?
All too easy. The Prime Minister's office has responded to our questions with a bland assurance that it uses
the same arrangements as applied under the previous government.
But the TV networks, and we spoke to all 5, believe it's getting harder than ever for them to do their job. Some typical comments.
It's getting worse than with Howard. Rudd won't disclose what he's doing in advance.
They are worse than the previous government.
It's disgraceful.
And to make matters worse, they all said, media people from the PM's office have taken to dropping round to the press gallery at around 10 a.m. to find out what stories they're working on. If the office doesn't like the news agenda, it quickly finds a new story to feed the chooks. The ABC's political editor, Chris Uhlmann, told us,
the PM's announcements are driven not by policy, but by the media cycle.
The wheels of spin spin ever faster.